West Virginia University Mountaineer football team was born the afternoon of November 26th, 2022 in a cold rain in Stillwater, Oklahoma. May sound a little weird, which you shouldn't be surprised by on this channel. And I'll tell you why I think it is accurate and what it means after I say this is WVU football going deep. I am Forrest Poston, teacher, talker, teacher, and cat dad. And I will give an update about Bob for those interested at the end of the video. Meanwhile, please share, subscribe, click the thumbs up button, click the subscribe bell, and make comments and tell your friends that there is something going on out here. Now, well, West Virginia football program has been around for a long, long time. But I say it was born November 26, 2022. This version of it. Up until that point, just kind of going through the process, getting ready. Now, I think you could see what was coming the previous 3 games. Maybe not as much in terms of wins because they weren't winning a lot. Tackles for loss were up. You could see the speed. They were playing differently. And then they get to Stillwater. Oklahoma State is 7-4. And West Virginia isn't going to a bowl game, even if they win by 50. It was the kind of day when most sensible people would want to hang out indoors with a hot drink of one kind or another. And these guys were out there on the field. Nothing to play for, some would say. And there are a lot of teams that would have just phoned it in, given up, gone through the motions, whatever you want to call it. This team didn't. They were playing for pride. They were playing because they love to play. They're competitive by nature. And maybe playing for their coach. Because if the team played badly, Neil Brown probably would have lost the job. Announcers were saying through the game, Brown still had this team. They were out there playing their guts out. I think back at the time, I don't know, somebody said something about playing with their hair on fire even in the rain, which is clearly hard to do. And it's not like Oklahoma State was playing hard too. They weren't laying down. They had things to play for. 8-4 is better than 7-5. Means a different bowl game. But West Virginia dug. And they played extra hard and found a way to win. Despite mistakes. They made mistakes. I mean, being born is kind of a tricky thing. Malachi Ruffin made one of the great goofs in football history. He also came back and made 2 saves that may have meant the game. It was that extra grit that we became familiar with in 2023, especially the first part of the season. And if you really watched the game, not the numbers. I mean, it's kind of hard to watch immeasurables, but that's what you had to see. You had to see what cannot be put into strict numbers, because that is what it is about to be born, to form an identity. And that's what happened. Things came together. Now, of course, players from that team were gone the next year. Others came in. That's the nature of things. But once you establish that core, that self as a team, it's not about this player, that player. It's not about Garrett Green having taken over as quarterback a few games earlier. Nico Marchiol played almost half the game anyway. It was about being a team. About being a team that loved to play for each other, that believed in each other, that fought for each other. And that game predicted the 2023 season. That game is not the only reason, but it may be the biggest reason I said the team would win 7 to 9 games in 2023. And it's still a big part of the reason why I say they will win 9 or 10 games, maybe more this season. Because 2023, well, they were still young. They'd only been born the year before. 2024, they're getting to be in their prime. They're not there yet. Meanwhile, this team became a team through adversity. Neil Brown talks about it a lot. He means it. It matters. If they had just given up, or if they had tried to play hard but just somehow couldn't, which happens, things would be a lot different. Things would not have come together. Neil Brown would probably be gone. But things did come together. The win helped. Now, but it was the way they played and the fact that they found a way to win. They went from finding ways to lose or finding ways to almost win to finding ways to win. 2023, they did find ways to lose a couple of times. Growing pains. Now, at the same time, you can call it rites of passage. If you don't like the whole birth metaphor, we go through rites of passage. We don't call them that in our society, but they're still there. And they came through it. They became something more than what they were before that game. That is why they had a very good season in 2023, even though people want to say it was an easy schedule. People want to claim that the team wasn't and isn't that good. And they will sometimes refer to various numbers, generally speaking, the very superficial numbers. They don't refer to the immeasurables because they don't like what they can't quantify. But immeasurables matter. And November 26, 2022, and a cold, cold rain was when those immeasurables became measurable. You could see it in how the team played. You could see it in the results. You could see it in the press conferences, in the interviews ever since then. You could watch the maturity from that point. It's something special. Enjoy it. I don't think it's going away anytime soon, at least not as long as somebody like Neil Brown is the coach. But, man, it doesn't come around all that often. And I think that's a big reason this is going to be a special season. Well, that's mostly what I had to say today. I really think that game was one of the most important in West Virginia football history. And it does not get the credit. Now, for those who are curious, Bob is, well, we think he's doing better. He's on his 4th catheter. Keep taking it out to see if he'll pee, and he keeps doing some things better and some things not. We've had a couple of setbacks. We're running up a very, very large vet bill that we're not in any great position to pay. And we'll keep running it up anyway if it's going to help. We're just trying to let some things heal that we think will heal. So we're kind of happy. We're kind of scared. But he is doing better. And a different sort of side note, I don't know, some of you may have noticed that the background is not quite as messy as it used to be. Did some cleaning. And just before I started the video, I had the camera on, and there was some papers hanging out from one shelf. I said, well, come on, I can move those. Pulled them out. Found a paper I wrote in grad school back in 1991. The thing is, I've thought for years that this paper had disappeared. And it bugged me because I said something in there that I thought was pretty darn neat. And I never got around to following up on it. Now, I found the paper so I can see what it was I said, because I don't remember. It may not be as neat as I thought it was, or my brain may not work in the same way. But, well, here it is. I found it just because had to clean my desk finally. Hey, I don't know if neatliness is or cleanliness is next to godliness, but maybe it does have some benefits. All right. I'll talk to you guys later, shortly before the Penn State game coming up a week from today. Man, I am looking forward to it. We're almost there. Can you believe it? Almost there. And it's going to be a great day. All right. Thanks for dropping in. Hope some of you enjoyed the video. And I'll talk to you later. So long.